Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl S to the K and I'm back here with another video. I'm super excited to be back here, and this is my first video in Nigeria since my Dubai escapades. And unfortunately guys, you're still going to be hearing some construction sounds because they're not done with this big ass building close to my house. So anyways, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time, you are welcome. Disclaimer, they're constructing beside my window, so there's nothing I can do. You might hear some construction sounds, but anyways, thank you guys for being here, and for those who are returning, thank you guys for sticking around. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so you know I like keeping it real with y'all, and you guys know that they have been constructing by my window for a while now, and they're constructing this big ass building and they refuse to finish. So you're still going to be hearing some sounds. I might have to put music in the background just to, you know, fade out some of them sounds because today's own is quite annoying. But let's go. Anyways, so today's story is literally part two of my ex-boyfriend's story. So now, if you guys haven't watched part one, if none of you know what I'm talking about, I have a video where I was talking about an escapade I went through in the hands of my ex-boyfriend. And let me tell you guys, the wahala that video got me, like, to show you guys what I went through. This person went ahead to threaten me, sort of, I don't know, threatening me about, you know, commenting some stuff on my YouTube. And it's not like I really give a shit because, I mean, he blocked me, first of all, and then he messaged my friends to pass on the threats. But that's not going to stop me because your girl is a stubborn girl, and I'm going to do what I want to do regardless because it's my channel and I'm going to do what I want. So today's episode of Surviving the Ex. Let's start with, so the first one I spoke about, you know, how like that was even like the tip of the iceberg compared to what I've gone through. So let's talk about when he turned me from the main. As a matter of fact, no, let's not talk about that one. Let's talk about how he turned me from sort of like a main to a side. In fact, let's put two stories inside this so we can make it fun. Guys, do not laugh at me because y'all know we've all gone through times where we've been stupid for our exes, so do not laugh at me. So where was I? Sorry, I had to do something real quick. Anyway, so let's start with the first one. So the first story I'm going to tell you with this is that this is the second one that happened from the amount of ones I probably don't even know about. So here I was sitting in my house one day, and in my dorm rather. I was still in a dorm at this point. I was sitting in my dorm one day, and my friends called me to my other friend's room. At this point, my friends already clocked that he was an ain't shit guy. So they called me into my other friend's room to ask some questions, to talk to me. So it was like an intervention. And here I didn't know, like, you know, what was going on, like, why are they calling me, like, what's happening. And then they asked me, like, do you know? Okay, so let's call her name BC. And they're like, oh, so do you know anyone called named BC? I'm like, no. Who the fuck's that? And they're like, oh, she's in this other school. She was in a whole different school. You're like, oh, she's in this school in a whole different city, by the way. And let's call his name uh Femi, because you know that Femi's ain't shit. So let's call his name Femi. So they're like, oh, do you know BC? I'm like, no, I don't know anyone called BC. Who is that? They're like, oh, well, Femi has been hanging out with BC. They've been going around, she's been coming. And at that point, how I didn't figure it out on time is because he just came to me and he's like, let's give each other space. Like we need some space from each other. We need to maybe work on our differences apart from each other. So let's have some space. I didn't believe in the space. I didn't want the space, but he kept on insisting. I'm like, you know what? All right, no problem. Um, let's have the space. And when during the intervention, my friends are telling me, well, this so-called BC girl has been coming into town from her city, and she's been staying over at his, and she had all her cosmetics there. She was basically like, and the gag is, guys, she I don't know if she still does YouTube, but she was also on YouTube. And another gag is that she a mutual kind of like acquaintance of us. So I had this acquaintance, and the acquaintance was her close friend, who was seeing Femi's close friend at the time. So she hooked Femi and BC up because her close friend, and then her boyfriend's friend. So this all this hookup was going on while me, I was on the side, just thinking, innocently thinking, we're on a break. And they're like, oh, and they started showing me like videos from her Snapchat. This was when Snapchat was the in thing. So they started showing me videos of when she's in town on her Snapchat, when she's like, oh, babe cooked. And he liked to cook then, like, oh, babe cooked, oh, babe this, and babe that, and babe that, and this and that and that. And I was seeing all these things. I'm like, what?
Hold up. Wait a minute.
I hit him up. I'm like, I just wanted to talk. Like, I was like, he came, and I went to, so my dorm did not allow guys to come in, the particular one I was in at that time. So I had to walk out to meet him outside. So we're just seated in his car outside. I was like, okay, so who is BC?
Next question.
And he's like,
Who's busy? I don't know who that is.
he was just, playing dumb. Wondering like, how did this girl find out? Because he just felt like, she being in a whole different city, a whole different school, I probably wouldn't have found out. But the thing is that Cyprus was a very small ass place. No matter the city that you're in, it was just a very small place, and the Nigerian community alone was so tiny that it was very hard to hide things from each other. Gist always used to fly around like fire, as well as rumors. Crying, and I was such a crybaby then. Crying like, why would you do this? Who is this? I was hitting the dashboard. I was hitting it. I'm like, why would you do this? Blah 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 blah. And he wanted to play smart. He's like,
I don't know what you're talking about. You just always listen to all this your friend. You don't listen to me. You like listening to what people are saying.
he was a very good manipulator. Like, he's A plus. If manipulation was an exam, he will score the highest in that. The way he made it seem, I started thinking like, oh my goodness, I come to come and cause issue that wasn't there in the first place. He's like, this is why I want to space. And here I was, I started, breaking down and crying. I'm like, oh my goodness, what have I done? And then we came to a conclusion after we settled. We were like, you know what? Okay. He said he's going to, in quotes, solve it. He's going to take care of it. I'm like, you promise? Like the dumb fuck that I was. He's like, yes, he's going to take care of it. I'm like, okay, I trust you. I believe in you, blah, 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 blah. And I went back home. And the next day he told me he had blocked them. And here's the thing: when I find out about when I used to find out about his escapades, he wouldn't speak to me for a few days, and like he would be literally angry with me. So he used to get angry for me for finding out that he was, doing this and doing that.
Hey!
So, he needs after not speaking to me for a while, he goes ahead to like, one day we were talking and he's like, yeah, he's blocked her, he's sorry, this and that, them bullshits. Fast forward to a couple of days, I was with him and we had settled, even though like, things were still like a bit shaky, we're still okay, we were better. And then we went out, I can't remember where exactly we were. And I was with him, and a text came on his phone. At this point, trust was just not there anymore. So we were checking each other's phones at this point. So at that particular point when I was with him, a text message came in. A text message came in on WhatsApp, and I saw the message. It's like, hey Femi, what's going on? I'm confused. You blocked me here and that. Then what exactly is going on? Just like, she was confused at first. And I felt a certain way immediately because I just knew like once I left him, he was definitely going to respond to it. And there was really nothing I could do. I just reminded him that you know what you promised, and I held on to that, and I just went back to my place. After a while, I realized that I went on his I checked his followers at some point, and I realized that at this point, no, I think I was checking the followers occasionally because I was getting crazy, and when they say someone makes you crazy, I was checking the followers to see, and then I realized as one day they had followed each other back, so definitely he unblocked her. And probably they had sorted whatever it is that was between them, and I'm like, you know what? I called him, and I'm like, what's going on? He was just very dismissive about it. I'm like, you know what? No, he was like that he felt bad. Yes, that was exactly what he said. That he felt bad. He didn't really explain things to her, and he just felt bad that he did such a bad thing, and he just wanted to make it right or some sorts, like apologize to her, and just like not just have bad blood with anybody. So I didn't believe that nonsense. So I what I did was I did something stupid because I knew who she was. She had a large following on Instagram. She had a YouTube channel as well. So I'm like, you know what? I followed her on Instagram. I followed her and then I added her on Snapchat, which crazy girlfriend shit, man. When I did this, immediately she understood, like she followed me back immediately. And that's another crazy thing because I just felt like she knew, or maybe at that point I want to give her the benefit of that she probably just thought I was his ex or something. So immediately I followed her, she followed me back on Instagram, and when I added her on Snapchat, she added me back immediately. So I messaged her not to fight or anything because there's one thing I wouldn't do is fight over a man. I'd rather fight the man. So I sent her a message that, hi, this is that. Can I have a number so we could talk? And she's like, yeah, sure. I was just thinking, okay, she's not, she doesn't seem like a mean person. So I went ahead to call her. But the good thing I did was a friend of mine was recording the conversation while when I called. So we had a conversation where I was like, I don't like, I called her, I'm like, you know what, I'm not here to fight or bash or anything. I just want to know, like, what exactly is he telling you? Like, what exactly is going on? Because, like, I just found out about this whole thing some days ago, and I just wanted to know. So she's like, oh, at first she didn't know anything, this and that and that. Like, the conversation actually went really well because it felt like I had told her this was the situation, and she's like, oh wow, and she's like, thank you for calling. I'm like, thank you for understanding. And we ended the call. And I don't know what exactly she went to go tell him the next day, because the next day he was frantic. He was like, why would I call her to confront her? This is that and that. I'm like, confront her? I ain't confront her. I just called her and I was very friendly. I ain't confront, no, I ain't confront no bitch. I don't really care. So at this point we're fighting again because I'm like, okay. But then I'm like, why are you fighting me? Because I told you to block her. You not block her. Now look at what you made me do. Now here we are. I mean, that's not what I said, but still. Um After that, I think we settled sort of. Then I think she blocked him or what. No, the thing is that I don't want to bash her because I don't want to be that person, but I still saw some things that were just weird, that even after I called, um it still looked like she really wanted him to still leave me for her, to some extent. And I don't blame her because I don't know how much he was manipulating her as well. So like, I was in it too, but then I was angry because I'm like, wow, she do that. But then when I came out of it and I understood the length at which I was being emotionally abused and manipulated, and realized that he could have been doing the same thing to her. So I tried not to blame her as much. But yeah, I still saw some stuff that were weird. And then after a while, like, she just came out and did like a whole YouTube video and made it seem like I called her on some type of like stay away from my man type shit, which wasn't the case. But the video went around the whole Cyprus. I had some of his friends subbing me on their Snapchat. But like, I heard some of the lies he also said to her about me, and I'm like, this nigga, the fuck? He said some stuff like, oh, the reason why he can't leave me is because of my family. My family was begging him to be with me, or some sort of shit like that. I'm like,
Shit, my mom don't even know about you. Like, what are you saying? What's that shit? I'm not even told my mother about you. Like, what's that?
all right, so now let's move on to this one. So that this one was the major one, and this one was, I mean, even though there was a whole lot of back and forth, but this one was the one that I really said, you know what, like, it's not worth it. Like, it's really not worth it. So after a while of, everything going quite well, we broke up. We broke up in one summer, and we're broken up for like a few months, and then we went back, and then even though we were talking a little bit, we're still broken up. And then I saw that he was seeing someone else. I saw that he was seeing someone else. Now don't get me wrong, like, I know that like, I've said a lot of bad things that he's done, and I'm not trying to, like, soften the whole thing, but I'm just saying that there's so many times that he also came through for me, like, emotionally, financially. I'm not going to hide or beat around the bush or anything. I was young then, so so many things, like, he was, when it comes to romance, the guy sabi. I'm not ever going to lie. And words as well, like, he's good with those things. When we got back, he was seeing someone else. There are sometimes that his car literally drive past me, and I'll see her inside. I'm like, oh wow, I think it's really over this time. And then I can't remember this particular part, But I know that yeah, silly me, I was always I was reaching out to him, trying to like, because I think I was still very much in love. Like I just felt it was our regular like breakup and makeup type thing. So there's a time then after a while that we started talking again. It was like, so I was like, so what's up with this person? He's like, oh, I shouldn't worry, that they're just very good friends. We started kicking it off again. We started kicking it off again, my people. And that's like, at this point, when I realized that I was a side chick, at this point I thought we're back. Like I wasn't really hearing things anymore. But then sometimes I remember sometimes I'll go to his house, I'll see some kind of perfume. And let me tell you what she did, guys. That girl really marked territory. She was putting empty perfume bottles everywhere in his house, like female perfume bottles everywhere in the house, like empty, just because. And I feel like she knew, obviously. Um, his friends then will tell me that she not worry, blah blah. They cannot. He can't do it. He can't be serious with her. Me to her, stupid me, I was believing, and I heard one time where someone was saying that she's the one that he wants to marry, and then me, I was just like, for the fun of it, like she's the one that he wants to marry. I'm like, really? So I asked him about it. It's like, I'm still doing it. I haven't changed. I'm still listening to what people are saying. After a while, like there's so many times, like maybe he took her to everywhere. He took me to did all the things that we were doing together. He did everything with her, like every single thing to like till the full stop. So I realized, and then he was being seen more with her. I started being hidden. Like he didn't want to be going out more with me. It was mostly an indoor type thing all the time, or he'll come and pick me late at night. So I just started noticing the side chick behavior and treatment. So I started like I was slow to it, but then I realized, and then she used to always post him on his snap. Sometimes he will post herself, but he will block me, but he will block everybody. So someone will just say, this and that, like what's going on. So now this is where it gets juicy. When I was like, you know what, I'm fed up. Like I asked him, I was like, do you want me or do you want us to go our separate ways? And he's like, I think separate ways. I'm like, oh, okay, bet, no problem now. Bets. So the funny thing is that, okay, let me tell you, when before I asked him that question, I think I and my friends went like on a girls night type thing. We went to a whole different city to some place called Hangover in Cyprus. And we went there and we're having fun, girls' nights was just we girls. I saw how fun as well. I saw how fine ass with his tall self
Well,
checking me out. I was checking him out too, because at this point I was already getting irritated and fed up with my ex and his issue. So I'm like, you know what? If he's out there, then I'm out there too. So I was like, oh gosh, checking me out. So I was checking him out right back. And he asked for my number, and guess what? I gave him. Like this guy was already on my phone, like ready to kick it off, and I was still hooked on my ex. So I just when I saw that my ex was with this girl, I'm like, you know what? I asked him like, do you want us to just move on, or do you want to be with me? And when he's like, I think we should just move on, I was like, I bet.
Ooh, that'll do it. You don't have to worry about me.
I hit that other nigga up. I'm like, all right, so when are you coming to get me? I shall be packed and ready to hit the streets, because to the streets is where I go. And I went ahead to stay a couple of days in that city, and I had fun. Like went on dates, we did things. Some my ex's friend, as to that time, close friend, called me, and they were living in the same estate. Called me at that period, and he's like, what's going on? That my ex is on his couch. My ex is on his couch, sad, and that what's going on. that I should just brief him on what exactly it is that's happening, this and that. And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, oh, that I should just come and talk to him. That he's just really, really sad at the moment. And at first, I didn't really want to care, but I wouldn't like. Part of me was still cared about him, so I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, I'll speak to him. And so then my stupid me, I went ahead to speak to him. And next thing, he's like, he wanted to work things out with me, and that he was literally upset that I was in another person's house. Now he's now saying that he wants to work things out. Meanwhile, he wasn't ready to drop this person. So we kept on going back and forth. Don't get me wrong, I never told Rex that I'm not seeing me, I don't want to see you again, blah 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 blah. But that was what Femi wanted me to do. But he didn't want to do it to the babe that he was seeing at that point. It was just like a whole back and forth, and that's like, and to be honest, like I think I just indulged in his bullshit for too long, because I think I really like, and there was no escaping. Like like we were seeing each other all the time. There was no escaping him. So I just told myself this was already close to when I was leaving. So I just gave myself an ultimatum that, you know what, you're going to be done with this shit once you leave Cyprus and you go back to, like, you wouldn't be seeing this guy. And that's exactly what I did, because although it took a while, like it still took, to be honest, like at some point we even go back together. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this weird ass story time. Get ready with me. It's almost time to hit the streets. All right, guys. So your girl is ready. I kind of like what I do with my hair. Use bendy rollers on my hair. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, except the construction sound. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And thank you for sticking around till the end. And I will see you guys in my next video. Let's go turn up.